G'day guys, my name is Caleb, otherwise known as the Critic Kebab, and I am bringing back this series for the Oscars. The 94th Academy Awards is fast approaching, and in this series, I will be making a verdict on whether the films nominated for Best Picture are actually worthy of winning that extremely prestigious prize. The trophy all aspiring filmmakers would love to get a hold of. I will be giving my thoughts and breaking down the pros and cons of these movies and explaining why they are so great. That is, if they're even good at all. There will be a playlist with all the videos, so make sure you check them out, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more content like this. The movie I'm going to begin this series with is Dune. Now is the time to determine if Dune is worthy of winning Best Picture. Directed by Denis Villeneuve, who, in my opinion, is in the top 3 working film directors today. The story is based off the novel written by Frank Herbert, and is a science fiction adventure story that is brought to the screen in epic proportion. To begin with, I agree that this is a film worthy of being considered for Best Picture. But do I believe it's the best from the list? No. No, I do not. This film has one fatal flaw that really detracts from this being a truly great sci-fi epic. That is the relationship between father and son. Duke Leto of House Atreides is portrayed very well by Oscar Isaac. He gives a stoic performance, and you can really tell through his performance that he is a wise leader who really cares about people. His son, Paul Atreides, played by Timothée Chalamet, is the protagonist of this story, and he is a boy filled with mystery. Timothée Chalamet is a phenomenal actor, and he brings another really solid performance to this movie. Paul is a character that has many things going on around him, and as he is trying to find his place in the universe, so much despair and responsibility is thrust upon him, and that makes him and his journey in this first installment really interesting. I think it's fair to say that this movie's story takes a while to become somewhat interesting, but once it does, it tells its story quite well. But despite having an interesting story with an intriguing mythology, it severely lacks emotional weight. That weight should have been put on the relationship between Paul and his father. Paul only has one deep emotional scene with his father. That is when they are walking across the fields where their ancestors lay. The two share a scene a few times after that, but there is no profound building of their relationship after this scene. Most of their interactions are carried out in glances and nods. By not constructing an emotional connection between these characters, it leaves the audience feeling detached by Paul's revelation of his father's death come the midpoint. As a comparison, by the time Leto dies midway through the film, Paul has had 7 meaningful scenes with his mother and 4 scenes with his friend Duncan, both of which you as the audience care more for than Leto. By giving time to these characters to interact, it allows the viewer to build a connection to their relationship in the story. Paul and his father only having one heart-to-heart is why this movie fails from an emotional perspective, in my opinion. You feel way more sad when Duncan dies than when Leto dies, and Leto has far more narrative importance to the overall story, but also especially Paul. Besides the fact that the movie fails to maintain your emotional care for this family, it does make up for it in many other aspects. This film is technically amazing both visually and audibly. The cinematography is beautiful in scope with great use of natural lighting and shot composition. The visual effects are almost flawless, and that is incredibly important, especially when telling an epic story like this in outer space. There is lots of ambitious visual spectacle on display, and Denis Villeneuve has showcased his artistic talents yet again. His imagination for this world is very evident, and it will be exciting to see how this story unfolds moving forward. A solid foundation has definitely been set. Another shout out must go to the sound design team and the team behind the musical score. Creating a soundscape for this universe is no easy feat, and I think it was very well done. And the GOAT, Hans Zimmer, composing the music? What else needs to be said? Whilst this movie comes together from a technical perspective, story is always king, and I do find some aspects of it to be a little weak. As someone who is not at all familiar with the source material, I'm only judging this story and its characters based off what I have seen on screen. And in my opinion, this is a movie with an intriguing and complex mythology that really requires your brain power to follow along with it. Now, this being a part 1, there is a sense that there are characters who feel narratively important, but their influence isn't conveyed in a way that evokes your immediate care. The examples I use for this are Chani, played by Zendaya, and the Reverend Mother, played by Charlotte Rampling. I'm sure this is something that will fleet away once this whole story is completed, but as of right now, for this film specifically, their importance feels trivial. But the bottom line is that Dune is a sci-fi epic that is beautifully translated to the screen by Denis Villeneuve, and the story shortcomings don't detract from the overall enjoyment, but they do detract from the emotional engagement you have to these characters and the Atreides family. I saw this in theaters and walked away underwhelmed, but after a second viewing at home and on closer inspection, I can say I like it a little bit more. Watching Dune is like opening a banana that looks beautifully ripe on the outside, only to find it's bruised. Dune is a good movie, worthy of consideration based off its technical merit and amazing cast who all bring their A game. Not perfect and room for improvement in the sequels. Those are my detailed thoughts on Dune, released in 2021. Let me know what you thought of the film down in the comments below, and do you think it will actually win Best Picture? If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, share this series around with fellow movie lovers, and we'll all have to wait and see who wins the 94th Academy Award for Best Picture. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.